Samsung has just changed the foldable game big time with Unpacked. Here's everything you need to know. Let's go. So last week, I got to travel to Sydney to be a guest at Samsung's Unpacked briefing ahead of the Unpacked today. I got to see everything that they're announcing. Not particularly everything. There might be some surprises that we don't get told about, so that's just some insight for you. But everything that's important is there. Fold 7, Flip 7, Flip 7 FE, Galaxy Watch 8, Watch 8 Classic, all there for me to get hands-on with. So let's dive into all of them and let you know what you need to know. I'm going to start with the Fold because I'm just too excited not to. This is my phone. The Fold is the phone I've been using since Folds came out. In fact, I went ahead and ordered an OG Fold. So I'm going to be making a full comparison from Fold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 7. So make sure you hit subscribe for that.
So thin, you can't even see it. Look at that.
The thing that truly captivates you about the Fold 7 immediately is just how striking the design is.
Wow.
You pick it up and then you hold it and you can't quite believe what you're holding.
This is a folding phone. Sheesh kebabs. Oh,
it reminds me of the S25 Edge when I first picked that up and started using it. It's like, how do you comprehend that all of that technology that then unfolds into a tablet fits into a package this slim? Because 8.9mm when closed, 215 grams in the hand is by far Samsung's slimmest, lightest foldable yet. 215 grams is lighter than the 218 grams of the S25 Ultra. That's just a slab phone that doesn't fold. Crazy. That's the ticket here with the Fold 7, is the design. Yeah, you can talk about chipset, you can talk about performance, you can talk about battery, you can talk about cameras. The design, though, is what really sets this phone apart. Because you've got that phone when closed, then you've got the tablet when it's open, and you can do just so much more with it. All elevated now by how it feels. But of course, it's a hands-on video, so you probably want to know a little bit about the other parts of the phone. It is durable. Samsung have got Gorilla Glass ceramic on the front, which is the same that's on the front of the S25 Edge. And they've got Victus 2 on the back, all covered by armor aluminium around the frame. And they said something about titanium in the hinge. So the hinge is strengthened internally with titanium, and that hinge feels surprisingly bouncy.
that hinge just sprung open.
It's like it bursts open with energy, and then you've got a nice smooth close with it as well. Big fan of everything that they've done with the hardware on the Fold 7 this year. Internally, you've got pretty much what you expect. 8 Elite for Galaxy, 12 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gig in the 1 terabyte option. Pretty much all you could expect there. Some people might have expected a bigger capacity battery, but it's still only got 4,400 milliamp hours, which for me is fine. I don't see a big problem there. Other people might. The big problem I think other people will have is, of course, other foldables with silicon carbon are pushing battery past 5,000. Samsung just aren't ready yet. We just have to be accepting of that fact. The S25 Edge, though, should be a showcase that Samsung can squeeze good optimization and good sort of density out of smaller batteries. So we'll keep you up to date with how that goes. Cameras-wise, pretty much what we were expecting, especially if you were following the Fold Special Edition from last year. It's got the same ultra-wide as that, same 200 megapixel main camera as that, albeit trimmed down, and the same 3x 10 megapixel telephoto. Nothing's really changed there, which is fine. That was a great camera system, and I enjoyed using it, so I'm just going to enjoy using it on the Fold 7 now. There is a camera change, though. The Fold 7 internally has a 10 megapixel non-under-display camera, and it has a 100-degree field of view. So that is obviously targeted towards video calling and group calling, which I think is a nice touch. If they're going to remove the under-display camera, they at least replace it with something better, which is fine. I still like the under-display camera though. And the other disappointing thing is no S Pen support. I get it, 4.2mm thin when open. There's nowhere, 1, to store the S Pen internally. That's never happened on a foldable. But 2, that digitizer layer had to make way for the thinness, so the S Pen got dropped. I think it's okay. Because of the fact it's not internal yet, I think it makes it really hard to actually remember to bring your S Pen with you on a foldable. I remember with my Fold 6, it was a chore having to remember to bring it. And then when I used the Fold Special Edition, I didn't even remember having it. So it's not that big of a deal. Again, though, removing options for me, I'm Sometimes I just can't get past it. So that's the Fold 7. It comes in a few different colors, as phones normally do. The one I've got my eyes on is the blue. I love the blue. It just looks stunning. But of course, there's a black and a silver shadow. And then I think there's a mint one for the online exclusive. The next part is the flips. And the reason why Samsung is sort of winning foldables this year is the Fold 7 is really light and thin, and the Flip 7's got a better cover screen than most people have internally on their phone screens. Picking the Flip 7 up and activating that cover screen is a thing of beauty. Just being able to stare at what looks like a fake concept phone and have pretty much no bezels around the outside, you can't quite believe it's real. It's bright, it's vivid, and it's fluid. It's 4.1 inches in size, with bezels of only 1.25 millimeters, and it's a fixed 120 hertz refresh rate, meaning everything you do on that cover screen is going to feel fluid and fast and natural. And Samsung have enabled a few more things on that cover screen. You now have some more stackable widgets. So as opposed to just one widget per card, you can sort of group widgets together, which sort of makes things a bit more efficient. And there's a new camera experience on the front as well. Samsung have added in some animations and some new effects that you can do, like when you take a palm selfie, it starts a countdown timer leading into the cameras. Love that. I do have a comparison to Flip 6, but just quickly, Samsung have made it wider, thinner, and taller. So it's a 6.9-inch inner display now, but it is wider at an aspect ratio of 21:9, same as the Fold. So you're getting a more natural smartphone experience when open versus the narrow one from the Flip 6. The big controversial point here, for most people, they won't care about, but for some people they will, it's not using Snapdragon. It's using the Exynos 2500, but the battery is increased to 4,300 milliamp hours. So on one hand, you lose the Snapdragon performance. The Exynos has never been bad though, especially in the last couple of years, so you're fine. But then you're gaining 300 milliamp hours of battery capacity. It's 100 milliamp hours less than what's on the Fold 7. Staggering. And then you've got the Flip 7 Fan Edition, which I'm not quite sure where this fits in with the lineup. I mean, I am sure it fits in at the bottom of the foldable lineup, but it just seems weird to just throw it in now. This could have been a release potentially later. I do think they're announcing it now and it might not be available straight away, but we'll wait and see. The Flip 7 FE is a Flip 6. There's just no other way to describe it. It does miss the colored rings from the Flip 6 and it loses the matte finish on the back. It gains glossy glass on the back. But when you're looking at it, it looks like a Flip 6. Feels like a Flip 6. Internally, it's got the Exynos 2400, still maintains a 4,000 mAh battery, which I think is nice, and it's got the same camera setup as what the Flip 6 has. So realistically, it's just a nice way of entering the foldable market at a lower price point. Could be a way for people who maybe didn't want to spend a Flip 7 money or even Fold 7 money and get a Flip 7 FE. The option's there now. And then we've got the watches, the Galaxy Watch 8 and the Watch 8 Classic. The Watch 8 Classic brings the return of the rotating bezel. And I say return with a bit of tongue in cheek because it hasn't really gone anywhere. The Watch 6 Classic was never discontinued, as in it was always coming back on a 24-month refresh cycle. And here we are, 24 months later, with the Watch 8 Classic being refreshed. And they've kind of brought a hybrid design between the Classic from 2 years ago and the Ultra from just last year. The rotating bezel kind of fits in there and it gives it this really sleek appearance, sophisticated, I would say. Still a bit squared around it, but not anywhere near as drastic as what the Ultra is. It's thinner than the Ultra, which means that it's going to sit flusher on your wrist, which I really like because I think the Ultra, it's big. Even though that sits flush as well, the band makes it feel chunky. And then the Classic is going to feel a lot slimmer and lighter. The Classic does have a smaller battery than the Ultra though, and that's because it's a different target market. It's aimed at more lifestyle and convenience versus sort of active and on the go. Samsung are talking a lot about new sort of metrics that can be measured, antioxidant index, vascular load, bedtime guidance, and there's a new running guidance as well. And that's all in Samsung Health already. You can see it, but it does let you know that you need to have a Galaxy Watch 8 or later to use it. Alongside the Watch 8 Classic, Samsung are launching the more minimal Watch 8. And I got to say, there's a very consistent design language going on here. Again, it's that sort of mimicking that squared off corners a little bit, just protruding out from the circle in the middle. God, my brain. And I think it looks really sleek. It's very thin, very, very light. and just looks minimal. I like as well that they've still maintained the sort of touch bezel around the outside to sort of easily navigate, but just the whole thing looks really clean. And if you're in sort of a market for a watch that doesn't look like a piece of technology, this is a good way to go. The Watch 8 brings the brightness level up to 3000 nits, matching the Classic and the Ultra. So everything's now on like this even playing field. There is a Watch Ultra refresh. It's not a Watch Ultra 2. It's just a new one with double the storage and a new blue color. And all of the watches that got announced are launching with oneui 8 Watch, which is going to bring with it some new ways of interacting. And again, I'll probably do a deep dive when I get mine on my wrist. So that is all of it. If you are interested in anything from Unpacked, you can use my link down in the description below and pre-order yourself a nice new device. I've got other comparisons live right now, Fold SE versus Fold 7 and Flip 6 versus Flip 7. So go and check them out. And there'll be heaps more to come when my devices come in. So make sure you hit subscribe for that. Otherwise, see you guys in the next one. You!